Looking at her sibling, she did not see the freedom that was promised to both of them. Rather, she imagined that she saw him on the auction block. Moved by the horror of the vision, she spoke of her grief in this alternate reality. "Oh," she exclaimed, "if I were called to part with you as some poor girls have, to part with their equally dear kindred, and each of us, like them, to be forcibly conveyed away into wretched slavery, never to see each other again." In that moment, the school, the proud community members, the liberal reporters, all fell away before slavery's world-destroying power. Almost as soon as the horror raised its head in the schoolroom, Margaret banished it, telling herself and the crowd that here, in the House of Learning, time moves forward, not backward. "I must forbear," she told herself, looking back out at the group of well-wishers, her brother among them. "Thank heaven, it is not. No, it is not the case with us." She ended her speech by reminding her brother to study hard and to listen to his teachers. Nonetheless, this look forward to her brother's future remains haunted by her vision of the slave block. Her tale of progress had been broken in the middle, the rift in her story filled with a past that cannot be left behind. Slavery in this speech works as a force of gravity, perhaps allowing a naive child to think she can jump high enough to escape, but always pulling the aspirant back to earth, tethering her to a landscape where youth, old age, and everything in between became indistinguishable in the fog of endless bondage. This audiobook is about the lessons conveyed by Margaret's speech and taught for generations to black children in a New York City school. It focuses on two schoolboys educated at Margaret's school who absorbed those lessons and who, in their struggle to transcend them, changed the nation they lived in. James McCune Smith and Henry Highland Garnet achieved unprecedented honors in a world that believed black people were irredeemably inferior. As the sons of enslaved mothers, these schoolboy friends would meet Revolutionary War heroes, travel the world, publish in medical journals, and speak before crowds of cheering thousands. Through their work in medicine, literature, public service, political activism, and the ministry, they showed others how to reject the false choices they themselves had been taught at school. That black people must either embrace a cheerful exile abroad or accept a living death in the United States. Their work, and that of the black activist community they helped to lead, influenced how the United States could imagine a way to grow out of its slave past. As two black children who came of age and came into freedom as the country itself matured from a slave nation to federal emancipation, James McCune Smith and Henry Highland Garnet illustrate how powerfully narratives about black children's capacity for growth influenced the national debate about slavery's future. The school where they met, and where these narratives were tested for public scrutiny, was the focus of intense local, national, and even international attention. That school, part of the New York African Free School System, was first created in 1787 by a group that included Alexander Hamilton and John Jay, two founding fathers still flush with optimism about freedom's power to transform the country. That optimism had worn thin by the time Garnet and Smith graduated in the late 1820s. Even as New York moved towards ending slavery throughout the state in 1827. The students literally had to fight their way through the city streets to get to class, continually harassed by poor white New Yorkers who felt excluded from the progress that these students seemed able to access. But it was not just prejudice from outsiders that tore the school apart. The school's white teachers and trustees found themselves unable to prepare their students for a future as citizens. In truth, they simply could not imagine what that future would look like. Black parents were especially outraged by the schoolmaster's belief that black children could never grow into full maturity in the United States, and thus needed to return